You have a true champion in Dr. Ward. Give her a big round. I could not let this school year go by without getting to Bridgeport. I've been all over the place. I've been to see Girl kids in Wichita and Oklahoma and California and on and on and on. I was just in College Park. I spoke at a Gear Up graduation, and I'm in Philadelphia next Saturday. We're having a Gear Up event. But I am happy I got through here because I had made a promise to Dr. Ward that I would come. And you can see that she's not someone you want to disappoint, right? I want to say to your superintendent, who's doing an extraordinary job. And the mayor and I have chatted many times in the past. I know he had to leave, but he is so supportive of the superintendent because of his great leadership. And I'm happy that you're able to share with us and be here today. You have a very significant place in the Gear Up world. Now, with some 1,600 young people in Gear Up, and you're representing all of them today, and all of the high schools, the Central, Harding, and Bassett? Bassett. All right. Now, I met some young people when I came in. One of them, Hector, where's he at? This one right here. So they accosted me at the door, and he made it clear he's got a thirst for this that I think was exhibited by the young people who spoke about taking advantage of the opportunities in life. So let me just say a few things. I know that the assistant superintendents here and the head of pupil services. You got a lot of people here who are adults, and they're here because they're interested in focus on your future. Now, I'm a lawmaker. I'm a congressman. I've been in Washington for many, many years as a United States congressperson, and even before that, I was a state senator and a state legislator. I was the youngest person in my state to ever get elected to the state house, and I've been in Congress for a long time. I'm in my 17th year. I had to think about it. Somebody asked me how long I had been there. My 17th year. I'm one of those powerful members of the United States Congress, not because of who I am, but because of the position I hold as the lead Democrat on the most powerful committee, which is the Appropriations Committee. I handle all of the funding for the nation's science programs, commerce programs, and Justice Department programs, and a whole range of other things. But the reason I'm here is because I started a long time ago working on a piece of legislation to create Gear Up. We passed it. I got the President Clinton, to come to a middle school in a small little town called Philadelphia and sign it into law. And 12 years ago, when this started, nobody had a sense about what it was going to become, but I had a sense of what was possible. And we have put, counting this year's $300 million, we've now over $4 billion that we've taken in tax money and invested it in this program. And it's been wildly successful. And we want to make sure that you understand how important your future is to the country. So now earlier today I was in Hartford, East Hartford. I visited Pratt and Whitney, which is a little company there. It's about close to 30,000 employees. They make, I heard a couple of people say they want to be pilots, right? They make engines. And I was there at 7 o'clock this morning visiting with them. Because they have a young woman she's in her 20s. And she's an engineer. She just got out of college. And Pratt and Whitney's been making engines for decades and decades. Since the 1940s, they've been making engines. But this young woman in her 20s has developed a new approach to engines that make them a lot quieter and they operate on a lot less fuel. And because of her work, they have over 12,000 people there now making these new kinds of engines. They, in fact, have sold more of these new engines. They got about 1,000 engines on order. These things are bigger. They're bigger than one of these tables. They're big, gigantic engines. 80,000 moving parts, right, in these engines. And the point I make is that young people, you need to understand that no matter what you think about the adults who are in this room, that none of us are doing what we're doing as well as it can be done. That is to say that the hope for the future of the country is that you are going to bring something to these enterprises, whether it's Congress or running a school district or making engines that's new and different and improved. So that's why we're interested in your education. And Gear Up is a different kind of program in the sense that you started in 19 middle schools, and every young person in the school got to participate in the program. And all of you, because we're not just interested in one superstar. It's wonderful that this young lady came up with this new idea, but she can't make these engines on her own. That's why there are 12,000 other people at that factory working, because it takes a lot of people to do something that's important. So if cities like Bridgeport, if states like Connecticut, if our country is going to do better, we need to get everybody in the game. We need to get everybody involved. Now, what is the importance of going on to college? Some people say, well, it's worth about $1.5 million more over your lifetime. This is actual money in your pocket. Now, you think I'm making that up? Look at the census data. The country does. We have to actually count every person in the country every 10 years. We have to ask a lot of information about how much they make and what they do. So this census data is available online. And if you take all 300 million people in the country, you look at those with just a high school diploma versus those with a college degree, you'll see that on average, a college degree is going to put about $1.5 million more in your pocket than if you don't go to college. Like this young lady says that she's going to graduate, it's like hitting a lottery ticket without having to stand in line and waste your money, right? This is like you actually win every day when you get this education, right? And one of the things that was interesting about my visit to United Technologies this morning is that they are unique among companies, which is why I visited, because they have an education program for all of their employees, whether at the helicopter factory, the engine factory, doesn't matter where they're 200,000 employees. They'll pay for your education. They'll pay for you to go to college. Anything you want to study, they give you time off from the job to study. It's a fascinating company. Now, in October, they will go over the $1 billion mark in college tuitions that they have paid out as a company. Because they understand something. And that is that they wouldn't have a young woman invent some new way to do engines unless she got an education, right? So, Gear Up is one of my early successes in the Congress. I always am working to try to improve it. We have now lengthened the program from 6 years to 7 years so that your Gear Up staff can work with you for that first year in college, help you through whatever transition problems you might have, because we can't afford to lose any who are prepared to do the work to achieve a college education. It's critically important. Our country is now 9th in the world in the number of adults with a college degree. The president wants us to be first in the world by 2020. Now, you're graduating in 2014, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
So that means if you go to school after that and get a college degree, you will help meet this goal of America being number 1 in adults with a college degree. If you don't go to school and go to college, we can't possibly be number 1. All right? So it's very, very important that you understand not just your own part of this picture, but that you see the larger picture. We have people who are retiring every day, 10,000 people a day, okay? So the people you see who are police officers and nurses and doctors and lawyers and doing any job you want to pick, at some point they get to step off the stage, and then we need people who are going to step on the stage. So whatever it is that you want to do, there's an opportunity for you to do it. You just have to be prepared. You have to get ready. So I'm not going to talk any longer. I'd love to answer some questions if you have some. And the most important thing I want you to know is that we're counting that this is an investment in your future. And here's the deal. As important as Gear Up is, it's not helping all of the young people that it could help. So one of the ways for us to get more dollars in the Gear Up, and more schools in the Gear Up, and more school districts in the Gear Up, is for me to be able to show my colleagues that this program works. So when 94% of the Gear Up kids at Valley High School in Northern California, Gear Up, they graduated, that's good news. When we have success stories, that's very good news. So I want Bridgeport to be the biggest success story in the country, because it'll help us convince my colleagues in the Congress that we should be investing more in this program, and it'll convince governors and others that we should be making sure that every young person knows the advantage of going on to college and knows what it means to their future, and that even if they're not going to college, they should be taking on some effort after high school to prepare themselves for a career. So let me stop there, and I'll be glad to answer a few questions. Let's give Dr. Ward and her staff